I may be the last person to review this book and you may have already read it, but for those of you who are like me, who waited many, many years and then read it, this review is for you. We are back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are reviewing Where the Crawdads Sing. For those of you who haven't seen one of my Christian review videos before, there is a video that's at the very top of this playlist, so you can go ahead and check that out first for all of the information. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the regular review. If you haven't yet already, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay involved with these Christian reviews of regular books and stay up to date. I am on Goodreads, so you can see what I'm reading and rating in real time. You can also find me on Instagram, on TikTok, and my own YouTube, so make sure to follow me in all of those places so we can stay in contact. Where the Crawdads Sing has been an incredible book for me. This was a second or third book that I picked up when I decided to get back into reading, and so I was still learning, like, how am I going to feel after having just fallen in love with reading all over again? And I was really afraid that I was gonna read that one book, it was gonna fly through, and then I was never gonna feel that way again. But this book actually proved me wrong. It did start a little slow for me. It took me a moment to really get into it, but once I was into it, I could not put it down. I just had the best time and I fell in love with these characters and the way that the story was told, to the point that when I tried to watch the movie, I made it a legit 5 minutes and then had to turn it off. I was so frustrated. So this book really did win and wiggle its way into my heart. I will say that I do think that the book overall has a very slow beginning. It's very, very sad and very hard to imagine this young woman who has to go through the things that she had to go through, but it was beautifully done. Also, a little fun fact is that Delilah Owens actually works and is a scientist out in marshes. And so a lot of the science and research that the main character did in this book is based off of Delilah's own research. And then she goes back and writes a fiction book about someone who does this research like what she does. I just think that's really neat. Ultimately, I rated it 4 stars. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. For my Christian review, I always love to touch on the basic things that may or may not have a fellow believer or anyone wanting to read it. The first thing that I always love to touch on is if there's any smut or spice within the book. There are a few scenes, but they are very minimal. So I feel like they're very easy to skip past. It's not super descriptive. It's more fade to black, so easy to kind of work with. The other category is explicit language, and I wouldn't say that it's a lot. I think it has to do with the characters and the way that the characters are meant to be portrayed. And so the language matches how those characters are portrayed in the time frame in which they are being portrayed. So there is some, but I think it makes sense to the characters and the dynamic. It doesn't feel out of pocket or out of place. And I think it's very easy to kind of help you get into the world. Finally is if there's any violence or gore, this does take place around a thriller kind of suspense aspect. So violence or gore could be an issue. However, I do not think that that really applied. It's more suspenseful and keeps you engaged than it is actually showing you violent things. There are a few things dealing with domestic violence, which does have some gore involved. So again, just something to keep in mind. But ultimately, I feel like it's very appropriate. It's not super descriptive and easy to kind of read through. I think this book could be great for someone 16 and up. I think this could tell a really great story for someone who's in high school and could tell a really beautiful story that you as the parent could also talk to them about. So that's it for the Christian review of regular books of Where the Crawdads Sing. I would love to know if you've read it. Let me know down in the comments below. And again, don't forget to follow me in all of those places linked down below as well as you hit that like, subscribe, and follow button so that we can stay in contact and you can see all of my Christian reviews of regular books.